Good morning, buenos dias. Today is November 29th, 2024. It is a day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. I do not shop on Black Friday, take advantage of online deals, and I take advantage of this day off to do some housework. Most of the time indoors, but weather permitting outdoors, and today is a great day. It's about 45 degrees. I'm taking advantage before it gets colder at the later on in the week. We had rain yesterday, so excited about that. We got rain last week as well. We had really dry weather for 3 months, so really excited about the rain. Which usually you shouldn't plant soon after it's raining, but because it's going to get colder, I'm going to take advantage and plant the last of my bulbs. I've already put in most of my tulips and my daffodils. I am now planting the rest of my alliums. I did put in the Chores type alliums. Here we have these bags of that I get from Costco from Longfield Gardens. These are Atroperbium and Nigrum. I'm putting them in this bed. I think it would be very complimentary, the burgundy and the white. I'm planting them behind the petunias. The petunias are markers so that when the foliage starts dying back on the alliums and it looks kind of ugly, I know where to plant annuals to hide that foliage. We have to keep the foliage so that it grabs all the energy it can from the sun and it comes back beautiful next year. And so this bag of purple rain I'm planting in this section over here. These I have in the front yard next to some tall grasses. The tall grasses grow and hide the foliage and it looks really beautiful. Gives a little bit of a prairie look. I'm planting it here near some of these shrubs and perennials that can hide also the foliage. So I'm putting it in this section. Here we have storm cloud Amsonia from Proven Winners. That's storm cloud Amsonia. It dies back, starts coming back up in the spring. It's a beautiful plant and it has blue flowers, so the purple around here would be very nice. I'm going to plant these around here. Back here I have an anemone, a pink anemone from Proven Winners. I just planted these not too long ago. I got 3, planted them around different parts of my garden to see where they do well. So I really don't know how this plant is going to do. However, I'm going to plant some of the alliums around it. Here we got from Southern Living, Obsession Andine. I love these plants. It gets lots of sun here, so you'll see the leaves are a little bit burned. I think they prefer a little bit more shade. I try to keep it watered to combat the effects of the sun, but the ones I have in the shade do much better. I have a couple of these Nandinas. They're great. I recommend them. I got the lemon lime and I have the flirt. Here I just planted this not too long ago, I would say September. This is a Kaleidoscope Abelia. I planted a larger, more mature plant just to see how much space it takes. And it's doing really well. And I am going to plant some more of the purple rain alliums in the section. Here we have the coral bark maple, and I planted more of the daffodils in the section. I try to plant daffodils this time around against this fence because the rabbits like to hide behind these shrubs. They run away from the hawk and people. And so I also planted some firelight tidbit hydrangea paniculata in this section and some rise up and braised rose. Both were on sale from Proven Winners, and I planted this section which is more clay and a lot of sun, and they're in the same bed. Look at these irises. Can you believe that? I have to cut this back, but they're still blooming. It's crazy. Another Obsession Andina. And I planted some here. They're all in the same bed, but over there is more clay, more sun. Here is a little bit more organic material in the soil, and it gets a little bit more shade. So let's see how they do. Here we have a hydrangea. This is the city line hydrangea. The foliage is really beautiful, but it really has never bloomed for me because the buds get zapped. They're sort of sensitive. I've covered them up and it hasn't really worked. It has a couple of buds here. I don't know how they'll do, but they usually don't do well. So I kept this one here. I had 2 other ones, which I moved to other sections to see if they do better and compare. The one I replaced with a Midnight Marvel hardy hibiscus. This is a red hardy hibiscus. I have big magenta colored, the ones with magenta flowers in the front yard, and they do really well for me. These grow really large in midsummer to summer to late summer, and so I'm guessing They go about 5 feet tall. They might provide some more shade, some more coverage along with these trees that I share with my neighbor. Here I get naturalized columbine and milkweed, and I planted a drift of daffodils. See how that does. We have, and I moved the other 2 hydrangeas back here where they're a little bit more protected, more shade from this huge pine and these other trees. And see how they do well. All this hosta foliage has to be removed today. It looks like a critter pulled up some bulbs. I have to put these back in, but the hostas and the peonies should be cut back. The rain filled up my bird bath here, so the birds should be happy. I moved an invincible ruby hydrangea to this section. I planted some other hydrangeas. I don't know if I've recorded this before, but this is the Amazon hydrangea that I'm trying. Is also macrophylla. It came sort of like this already, sort of the blooms drying. I left it just like that, and I sort of put in the soil, lots of soil and mulch, because since I planted it late in the season, if the ground freezes and it starts to heave, at least the roots would be protected. Sort of held it up a little bit with soil. More hostas that has to be removed. I think I recorded this bed before. I did plant some new hydrangeas. I'm covering them up with cloches to protect them from the hungry rabbits. This is a froggy big leaf hydrangea against macrophylla's little baby right now. So I'm going forward with the macrophylla hydrangeas, which are a little bit more difficult to grow, but I'm challenging myself. And these are some new cultivars, so I'm excited to find out how they do. This one as well, little baby right now. It's a kimono, big leaf hydrangea. Excited about that. I have my camellia is starting to bud up. It's going to have these bloom in the winter, and so it already has some red blooms. I'm very excited. These are marginally hardy in my section. I think they're hardy to zone 7, but I have it in a protected area, and with the change in climate they might do well. Here is my very embarrassing messy section that I have to clean up. Peppers and tomatoes, and planted some tulip bulbs in a pot, and I have some sedum that are coming up here. And so these 2 roses I got from Proven Winners on sale. Got them at the same time. They were in the same condition, but this one fell over. I didn't notice, and it dried up. I watered them well. This is the Lilac Days Rise Up Rosa, and I got 2 because they're going to go up against a trellis. They are going to go here in this section against these 2 trellises. I had coral drift roses that had some rose rosette. I filled it up with soil. I'm letting it cure, and the drift roses were in this section. I'm actually planting the new rose a little bit further back up against the trellis where I have clematis. So again, lots of cleanup here. This is a peony I have to cut back, hosta that I have to cut back. These you cut back in the fall, again, to avoid disease and slugs. Here I planted an Ozo Easy Italian rose, landscape rose. It's sort of a short, small shrub, 2.5 feet tall and wide, and it has a little rose hip. So let's see how that does. So lots to do. Excited to have this opportunity to be outside and do this work today, since I have been busy. I went away on vacation to Hawaii, and then work and Thanksgiving. So this is probably my last opportunity to be out here in decent weather and enjoy the outdoors and finish up the bulbs and button up the garden and put it to bed. This anemone I likes a little bit more shade, dry shade. And so I'm planting it in another section towards the front yard. I'm going to stop here to enjoy the fall colors of the Korean spice viburnum. And this Japanese maple, Harvest Moon. This guy I've moved a couple of times. It really does not like the sun. And so I'm afraid to move him again. He's doing better here, but he still gets a little burned. Planted lots of tulips in this section. You see how wide open it is because the rabbits are less likely to hang out here since they're afraid of the hawks and people, and this is close to my deck. Here's another camellia that started to bloom. There's an old bloom. This is a newer bloom. This bloom has died, and you'll see all the buds on this October something or the other camellia. I'm not sure. This one's also protected. You'll see it has a fence, the house, and the AC unit. There's an astilbe that's dying back. I have these in a pot, and they're doing pretty good. This is pretty well. This is Jacob's ladder. So I keep the blossoms on my hydrangeas because I think they're pretty winter interest. All these hostas have to be removed. This is where I'm planting these anemones. And right where this creeping Charlie is, I'm going to pull it up and I'll plant the anemones. One of the things I've learned from online gardeners is that one of the ways to deal with weeds is to plant other plants in its place that you want and sort of have them, battle it out, compete with one another, of course, helping out the plant you want by removing the weeds. Here we have a Rose of Sharon, Hibiscus syriacus, and this plant was not doing well in its other location because it was competing with other plants and the leaves were getting like moldy, and so I planted it here, which is more sheltered away from the sun, but I think it needs more sun. So come spring, she's moving again. I'm not doing it now because I don't want to stress her out. So yeah, everything is looking lovely. There's still fall here, even though Christmas is around the corner. You get all the beautiful fall colors like on this barberry. Isn't that gorgeous? And the autumn joy sedum. Just here we have this is Laura petalum, the jazz hands Laura petalum. This is its second year. Here we have a gold arborvitae. I forget the name of this guy. This little guy. This is the last of the hardy hibiscus. This is when I cut him back. This is what it looks like. And here we have some ligustrum. I think this is golden ticket or golden something. It's a golden ligustrum, and it's beautiful, like a chartreuse color during the season. In the fall, it turns this beautiful burgundy, but it is deciduous. I'm going to cut all this back. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that, but these guys, there's a couple of shrubs you can cut back in the fall. I think this is one of them. This is my spirea. So the spirea you probably can cut back in the fall. I don't know if I'm going to have time for that. In the meantime, I'll be planting up some bulbs and enjoying my time outside before it gets super cold. And so that's it for now. Hasta luego. Till later.